Hey everyone, Ben from Snowboard Gamer. Welcome to my first episode of Board Game Stories. This is a new segment I'm kicking off on my YouTube channel, and I have one of my subscribers here, Michael.
Hey.
I met Michael last month. He was in town for business, and we met at a local brewery, played some board games together. He's hanging out with me tonight, and we're just going to talk about Board Game Stories. So what is Board Game Stories? Quick little intro. This is where I sit down with one of my friends or with anyone who's into board games for that matter, and we just talk about what got them into games. What games do they play as a kid? Why do they like playing board games? What's their story? Everyone has a different story. What was your progression? What was the first game that kind of got you into board games? I'm excited to have Michael on here. Let's start with the first question. What got you into board games as a kid? Let's start with your childhood. What kind of games did you play?
Yeah, so as a kid, I probably didn't jump right into board games. My grandfather, he started playing Uno with myself and some other cousins and got into games. And then a little bit later, I got introduced to chess by a cousin, and they gave me my first chess set. And then later, I actually ended up in chess club.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
That's fun. Was that in high school?
No, that was in middle school.
Oh, in middle school.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Okay.
I'm a chess geek, I guess.
So you started off, you mentioned Uno and chess.
Uno and chess.
Okay.
And Monopoly.
Monopoly. I think
Yeah.
everyone played that as a kid,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so as you progressed into adulthood and the modern board game era kind of exploded, what was the first game that got you hooked? Everyone has their game that their quintessential game that kind of got them into what I like to refer to as modern board games. What was it for you?
Settlers.
Settlers of...
Definitely.
That's
Definitely
funny that you
Settlers.
call it Settlers, because I call it Settlers too. And they rebranded it to Catan, which I still think, it's still Settlers to me.
Yeah, it's Settlers.
So what did you like about Settlers? What just got you hooked?
So we would play it till like 2 a.m. A group of us, all the time. We'd play it. We'd go to coffee shops. We'd go to people's houses. We'd play it everywhere. And the aspect of just building something and creating something and the strategic aspect of it, I liked that. I liked the interaction with people as well. And I liked winning.
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
I remember the first time I played Settlers, and they were explaining the rules to me, and I hadn't played very many before that. And they said 10 points wins the game. I'm like, 10 points? What? How is this a
10 points.
thing? And they're like, oh, you just wait. It's hard to get those points. And then it played out, and I had a similar type of experience. Okay, so Settlers kind of got you into the modern board game. Settlers won the Spiel des Jahres in 95 or 6, I think. But I didn't play it till the mid-2000s. When did you first play Settlers?
I started playing it in 98.
98?
Yeah,
Oh, you were early to the game.
99 till about like 2004. It was like the game that we would play. So friends, we just play it. And then there was a period where I kind of stepped back, and it was like I wasn't playing games at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came back to Catan. Now I call it Catan because you call it Catan. Yeah, there we go. Settlers.
It's hard. Now all it says is Catan.
Yeah.
They're really branding it as this whole Catan world, but it's always Settlers to me.
Came back to Settlers after I got married.
Okay.
So my wife and I never actually owned a copy of Settlers, and I got it, and we'd have couples over, and we'd play Settlers. We played for years until we had kids, and then I kind of stopped it a little bit. So you run out of time when you have children. So
Yeah, we played a ton of Settlers too. It's a great couples game. You have another couple over, 4 players. It plays very well. So Settlers started it. What was your progression after that? Most people get into board games, they kind of have 1 or 2, and they just play the heck out of them for a few months or a few years even. And then all of a sudden they start discovering, wow, there's a whole lot more out there. So what came next?
after we played Settlers a lot, I started looking out there at what other games were out there, and I came across Carcassonne. We ended up getting Ticket to Ride and playing that with our friends. I liked Carcassonne. I got I think it was one of the anniversary editions. It came in like the Meeple style box, and
Nice.
you just carried around the bag, and I got expansions for that. And then when we got kids, though, it started to change, and I had to start looking at games that were shorter, that were easy to play, quick to learn, and transportable. The games that we got that were shorter and easy to transport were like Monopoly Deal. Mm-hmm. So it had that whole feel of Monopoly, but who wants to spend like 2.5, 3 hours and then flip the game board over, it's just... So Monopoly Deal was a great game, and it's a card game that plays like Monopoly in like 15, 20 minutes. And you can transport it, you can play 5 people, 4 people, 3 people, 2 people, combine 2 decks, you can play 10 people. So, and then Guillotine.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a fun one too. Mm-hmm. Easily transportable, easy to teach. So, yeah, gaming changed when we had kids. We had to like find ways to fit games in.
Mm-hmm. Do you get time for 2-player games with your wife?
Yeah. Sometimes we'll play like Patchwork.
Oh, that's a great one.
Yeah. Japur. I like that one.
Yeah, that's fun.
Recently I got All Creatures Big and Small. Haven't played that one yet, but
that's fun.
Look forward to playing that one.
Yeah, and it legitimately is kind of Agricola in 20 or 30 minutes, like it says on the box. It's a good one.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite game of all time?
Ooh, of all time? So, I mean, I've played a lot of Settlers, so I'm probably going to have to go with Settlers.
That's a classic, for sure. Yeah. What about right now? I like to describe it as your latest crush. So, like, what game are you really digging right now?
So, recently, I just got a couple new games. I got Hive. I really like that. And it's a 2-player game. And then I also got Santorini, which is a 3 to 4 person, 2, 3, 4 person game. Really like that. The dynamics in it, that's a lot of fun.
That's a fun one. I think it plays better at 2, actually. Almost like a chess match of moving your dudes around and building the buildings.
Yeah.
That's a fun one.
And then also Survive. Survive's been fun because I can play with my 5-year-old and I can play with adults and I can get people in that don't typically play board games. I like to play games. I don't care if I win anymore. I used to care about winning. Now I just want to play and get people to the game, to the board.
That's interesting you bring that up. I was the same way. I used to be uber competitive. And I'm less competitive now. I still like to win and really try hard. But if I don't, it's just a game.
It's just a game.
And I had fun playing it. So a lot of times it's about the experience. That escape game that you mentioned, you brought out a few weeks ago when we met at Gravity, that was really fun. And it was chaotic, and you didn't have 100% control over everything that happened. But it was fun. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. And then Monopoly Deal, you brought that out and taught us as well. I really enjoyed that. I mean, I'll be honest, when I first heard a Monopoly spinoff, I was kind of like, really? I've lived that as a kid. I'm done with Monopoly. But the card game, it was fun. Even I stunk at it, but it was fun.
Yeah. I got the sense that you were kind of like, all right, Monopoly.
I'll be honest. But it was good. So don't judge it just because it has the Monopoly word on it. Yeah. It was fun. Who do you generally play games with? What's your audience, I guess? Some people play with their family. Some people play with their friends.
So right now it's family and then some friends. Like every Wednesday we typically will get together at our church and we'll play.
Oh, nice.
We have like a cafe there and the kids will go to their kids program and the adults will get to play some games there. And then also family get-togethers, holidays, family will play. And then I try to get my wife to play too.
Right.
So it's tough though because we have a 5-month-old and so we're very tired. So it's hard to get her to play a game. It's like sleep, board game, sleep. Sleep usually wins with her. So, but
I don't blame her. Yeah. That's tough having a young kid.
Yeah.
But that's cool that you still try and find ways to get a board game in here or there. What is it that draws you into board games? Why do you like playing board games?
I like the strategicness in board games. I like to interact with people. I think today we're so much on our phones and you go to family get-togethers or to wherever and people are on their phones and you pull a board game out and you get to interact more. So I really like to interact with people and it also brings other things out in people that you normally wouldn't get to see. Mm-hmm. So I like to get people to the table, to interact with them, get to know them better and build a relationship.
Do you have a least favorite game? Everyone always has a game that they just do not like.
So, yeah. I like to buy games, and I'll buy a bunch of games. My wife looks at me like, why are you buying more games? We have too many games. And I bought this game. I thought I was going to like it. And I pulled it out. We played it. And my wife likes it. And she likes to bring it around and play it. But I do not like it. Sushi Go.
You don't like Sushi Go?
I don't know what it is. I just don't like Sushi Go. We got Sushi Go, and I'm like, oh, well, I'll get the party version. I got the party version. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know if it's like too much of a setup, and you got to pull it here, and then I don't know what it is about Sushi Go or Sushi Go Party, but maybe there's just not as much strategy in it that I like. So
I think it's also tough if you've played Seven Wonders first.
Yeah.
To kind of downgrade to such a simple game in comparison. I like to call Sushi Go Seven Wonders Light, and sometimes I'll use that to teach people before instead of just jumping straight into Seven Wonders. But I could see how it kind of gets old after a little while.
Yeah, I like Seven Wonders. I haven't tried the Duel, but I like Seven Wonders.
The Duel is one of my favorite two-player games. It's awesome.
I'll try
Definitely recommend that. I hope you enjoyed this segment of Board Game Stories. Look for another one next month. Thanks for coming on, Michael. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
See you next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye.